Hello, Kurt's Cats fans. I'm going to read to you from a letter that I received from Robert Crumb after I colored his book of Genesis front to back, every panel. And he sent me this letter. So there's part of it. Let me try to read it to you. Just hang out right there. To Kurt Rinker. A few days ago, I received the colorized book of Genesis Illustrated. My initial reaction, just flipping through it, was I was flabbergasted. The amount of work and time you put in on this, and then to send it to me as a gift, kind of leaves me speechless. I don't know what to say. Then, too, I was immediately impressed with what a good on the mark instinct you showed for coloring these black line drawings. Folks, I impressed Robert Crumb, okay, who is probably the best illustrator in the world today. If you haven't seen his stuff, I impressed him, okay. You got it right. There's a kind of science to coloring comics that you seem to intuitively understand. You'd be surprised, not everybody does. There's a lot of bad comic book coloring on in these days. It was different in the old days when we were kids. There was a strong tradition, a craft in the printing trade of color specialists who did nothing but colorized black and white ink line work. This goes back to the early days of print and the production of cheap popular prints that sold for a penny. Some of them were actually in the form of comic strips, others were just one big picture. The imagery was often lurid, violent, and grotesque. That's what the people wanted, and they still do today. Up to the mid-19th century, these prints were sometimes colorized. That would make them cost a little more. People would hang them on the wall. Each print watercolored by hand. In these early prints, you can already see the formula at work for coloring black line drawings. You and you somehow or another fall right into that formula. This is what I most relieved to see, for otherwise your massive work would have been a failure. Looking more closely at your color work, I'm amazed to observe that I would agree with most of your color choices and would have done it that way myself. One thing I never would have done that you did is one thing that I would have done that you didn't do is color all the text boxes that have text in them. That is everything. Every time a block of text is enclosed in a box, I would put a color on the box. I have made them mostly just plain yellow, but sometimes for variation pale pink, pale green, or pale purple. Mostly yellow though. I found two places where you seem to have forgotten color in a whole panel in chapter 14. No, I didn't forget, Robert. Middle of the third page and part of the panel in chapter 50 where you apparently forgot to color in Joseph's brothers. I doubt if these omissions were deliberate. They were. They seem so random. Yeah, they were. They were deliberate. Hey, next time I land my private jet in San Diego, I'll take you for a spin. I told Robert that if you take my book, dude, I want the keys to the executive washroom and full use of the corporate jet. So he says, next time I land my jet in San Diego, I'll take you for a spin in it. Yeah, sure, right. Alex tells me you have started coloring the whole thing a second time. Actually, I'm on my third time now. Is this true? Good God, why? Meaning you did it differently all this time? I'm sure you're learning much from all that you've done up to now, and I did. It was a year of work. It was more than that. You say, I can easily believe that. That's why I decided not to colorize it myself. I knew it would have been at least another year's work, and it's too complicated being in color for print. I would have it watercolored instead of using, oh boy, it's hard to read. Instead of using So doing it in color for print, I would have watercolored it instead of pencils. Otherwise, someone skilled in skilled in Photoshop to imitate the watercolors, just use it as a guide to my or make it to my satisfaction. Have it all done on a computer. When I have to find someone I could trust to color it to my satisfaction. Or paint straight from my watercolor photocopies. It was a can of worms. I decided to let it go and have it printed in black and white. Can we see on the internet some of the new pages you're doing? Yes. You can go to my webpage, Kurt's Cats. I have the whole book there. Well, my humble thanks for this gift, Mr. Rinker. I'm overwhelmed. Don't know what to say. I will treasure this book. Robert Crumb. And there you go. My encounter with Robert. I gotta go. It's a long